Hey, what's up, guys? Absolutely Beast here, bringing you guys a race today on Forza 6. So this is with a different car than I've been using. I've been using the Audi R18, and I decided to mix it up. So this is a Porsche. It's called the I think it's called the 962C. Obviously, as you see there, it's some sort of like prototype car, and it's from the 90s, maybe even the 80s. But it's a pretty cool car. I just, like I said, I wanted to mix it up. This one had some great speed as far as the rating's concerned. So I was just showing you what it looked like there at the beginning. So ended up just picking it because it had some high speed. One of the weird things about it on the interior that you'll see is that the tachometer is very inverted, like it's almost upside down. It's really weird. But so anyway, so yeah, pretty sloppy first lap, and even second lap were just downright sloppy. This is my first time ever driving this thing, and as crappy of a driving job as this is, I felt it was important to bring it this way, sort of unfiltered, because this is what it's like the first time you drive a car. But as I get toward the end of the race, a couple laps in, I've sort of figured it out. And that's how it goes, like you can race in a lot of different classes and do a lot of different type of racing, and obviously the more time you spend racing, the better you'll be. Like, this was horrible. I was just trying right there not to take anybody out, but I ended up taking those guys out. So, but yeah, I mean, you get a feel for the game and the tracks and everything, and then when you learn a new car, it's not as hard to get used to it, but it's still difficult. So yeah, anyway, I want to talk about Forza 7 again. The reaction from you guys has been great, as far as what's getting watched and the views and everything for these Forza 7 videos, which says to me that you guys are as hyped for it as I am, which is good. I mean, I hope you are, because I am super pumped for this game. So I mean, just all the different things they've been talking about, all the different realism things. I mean, I've watched another video from Digital Foundry. It wasn't directly a Forza thing. It was a comparison video where they took a GTX 970 graphics card, and which is that was like their quote budget option, and they ran Forza at 4K, tried to run Forza at 4K. So they did like Forza Horizon 3, and they did Forza Motorsport 6. And so one of the things he was saying was they were able to actually run Forza Motorsport 6 at 4K on that card with room to spare, and that's like a budget card, basically a budget option. It's a card from last year, and still a very popular card from the Steam Spy stats, which basically are statistics that let you know what people are using on Steam. So he was just talking about how highly optimized the engine was. The Forza engine, which of course is what Forza 7 is built on, and then as he said in the in his reveal video of Forza 7, is that it's such a highly optimized engine, and even just porting it over to the Xbox One X without doing anything different, all they did was change it to 4K, and it still was only using 66% of the GPU. So lots of overhead, lots of room for them to optimize and change all sorts of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. But then he played some of the video again, and again, some of the only video out there is with the GTR, Nissan GTR driving in the rain and stuff like that, and it just looks so good. It has such a more natural look to it. One of the things I've always, one of the things that's hard for me, at least, with these games that are 60 frames a second, is that they have more of they're really crisp, and they have more of like a hard look to them. And for me, that's always been sort of like it's not a bad thing because the gameplay's smooth, but it just the graphics don't quite look as good. A game like Forza Horizon 3 is only 30 frames per second. And I can't say I've ever played it. I think I played the demo when it was out. I guess it would have been last year, right? Summer, I think. But even a game like a Destiny, to me, even Destiny 1 just has sort of a way different feel to it. And even though they're keeping the game at 60 frames per second, this Forza 7 footage that I keep seeing has a lot of those same characteristics. It's much more soft. It's much more natural looking. The lighting is less intense, and I mean, all you have to do is watch a video of like Forza 6 Apex, which I guess Forza 6 Apex is actually a free to play thing that they released, which is a, sort of a limited version of Forza. But that's what they're using. I think you can run it on the PC, so that's what they're using as like a sort of like a comparison. You know, because they use the same engine year to year. For Forza Motorsport 7, I'm assuming basically has the same engine as 6, but they just, you know, add in extra effects and stuff based on, you know, excuse me, what they can do. I think it's going to be cool, honestly. It's just, it has, you know, I don't really know of a way to explain it other than just a more natural look. The lighting is not as intense. When you see the Forza 6 Apex, you see it in 4K Ultra settings, even if you watch it on like a 1080p stream, or I mean a 1080p video, like I've watched it on many times on YouTube, through Digital Foundry's channel, you can tell the difference, and it just looks, the colors are super vibrant, all the surfaces are extremely reflective, and everything just looks too perfect. But this Forza 7 footage, now I've also heard from Digital Foundry was talking about this, because they did, like, they had an actual 4K feed, and that's how they've been testing these games that were released at E3 that were supposedly supposed to be 4K. Like, they tested Anthem, which looked really good. They tested Assassin's Creed, which honestly I could care less about. And not like I couldn't care less about, like I'm actually upset about it. Like, I don't like those games, and I think they should just go away. But, you know, apparently there's still an audience for them. But yeah, so they did all this real testing where they'd actually take the 4K footage and actually break it down really technically to make sure, you know, if it's actual 4K or if it's checkerboard rendering or if it's, you know, dynamic resolution or any of that kind of stuff. And so with Forza, they were talking about how there's some footage that initially, like some of the footage that's out there was initially HDR, but obviously if you don't have an HDR screen, you can't watch HDR, so the footage actually looks washed out. And that's what they were talking about. I'm not really sure. They said they went ahead and auto-corrected theirs, or they color-corrected theirs or something, so that it looked the way it should have. But, you know, apparently some of the footage circulating around, depending on who has it, is actually HDR footage, which means if you're watching it on a non-HDR TV, it's not going to look quite right. And again, this comes down to something that I said the other day, which is just, you know, the amount of, and that was the first time I finally got that turn right there on lap 4. But as you can see, I'm already in first now, and I mean, you know, I've definitely got this car kind of figured out. I wanted to switch to cockpit view right now, but I decided to wait one more lap. But yeah, so I mean, that's something I've hit on before, which is, you know, in this age right here, where you're talking about new technology, because it's a new technology, and it's like at the forefront, it's at the cutting edge. I mean, you know, 4K's been out for a few years now, but I mean, because it's just now, like, still at the you know, bleeding edge, the peripherals and things don't support it. So if you don't have the right HDMI cable, or if you don't have the right TV, or if you don't have the right resolution, or if you don't have your HDR enabled, or if you don't have your UHD enabled, or if you don't have your, you know, 10-bit color as opposed to 8-bit color enabled, like, all these things are very specific, and if you don't have them enabled, or the settings aren't right, it's not going to look right. I mean, you can still watch it because, you know, TVs nowadays are really good. You know, they can upscale anything basically. You know, they can take a 720p signal and turn it into a 1080p. And they can do all this stuff, you know, and they do it basically on board of the TV. And so, you know, for them, it's you know, it's great, just sort of plug and play. But at the same time, you know, with all these different variations, you know, you're talking HDR, you're talking, you know, 4K, you're talking 60 frames or 30 frames or more frames, or you know, 10-bit color, which is, you know, a wider range of colors, often referred to as a wide color gamut, versus an 8-bit TV, which is, or panel, you know, on a PC, which is basically all, or most TVs up until the last couple years. Just a lot of differences. So it's hard to watch the footage and know exactly what you're looking at, which has made it difficult. But at the same time, you know, you can see the difference. If you're watching, if something's in 4K and something's in 1080p, even if you're watching a side-by-side between those two and you're only watching it in 1080p, you can tell the difference. See, so look at that tachometer. Like, look how it's twisted. Like, they basically inverted it, you know, like 160 degrees. Like, it's almost completely upside down. But not completely upside down. And it was really weird. I mean, it makes sense because the way that the meal's going right now, it sort of hovers between like 8 o'clock and 11, but that's just weird to me. But anyway, even with all those things considered, and YouTube uses compression, and there's different stuff. I mean, all these different things. It still looks amazing. It looks fantastic. I'm so excited, and the more I watch it, the more videos I see, the more excited I get. Man, it's getting, the hype's getting really real. I mean, I've said that, before. It's even the title of one of my videos recently, but I mean, it just is. I can tell just by, the way higher amount of views I'm getting on these videos with Forza 7, as opposed to my, Forza 6 stuff, which, some of my Forza 6 stuff I was actually talking about, Forza 7 anyway. But, anything that's Forza 7 related is pretty hot, and I'm super excited. So I think I've made the decision to not get the deluxe package. You get to play it early. I guess that would be a big deal. Oh man, see, right as I thought I made up my mind, I didn't. So I may do that. Try to get a jump on the other people that are going to be playing it. This is an Xbox exclusive, so if I can get it early, then I'll be one of the first to play it, which should be good. And I'll certainly have videos for you guys with that. And then, of course, once the Scorpio, I call the Scorpio again, once the 1X launches, I get that, I'll certainly be uploading videos from that, and that's 4K, 60 frames for that bad boy. So surely I'll try to get at least a video or two up that first day. I've yet to see exactly how this is going to work with my internet and the rendering and all that. I'm not sure if it'll how much longer it'll take, logistic wise, how much longer it'll take me to actually record and upload a video. So we'll have to see with that, but I'm super pumped, guys. I'm so excited, so excited. And like I said, from the looks of it, it seems like you guys are too. I mean, that's basically what my channel's built around, so I'm just gonna keep going with it, and the more I do it, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, the more hyped I get, which is super exciting. So anyway, hope you guys are excited. Thank you for checking out my videos. There's plenty of other videos on my channel, especially the ones in the last couple days, specifically talking about Forza 7. If you're interested in those, check those out. And make sure you subscribe. Check back soon so you don't miss any of my content. And thank you guys. I appreciate it. One take. Woo!